heard someone, ask me to do this in the comments. And this is kind of something that I like, keep an eye. I read news, I read newspapers still. And um, this is a case that is kind of sad because it's almost in the same realm of what Chris Watts, you know, did to Shanann Watts. And so I think we're, you know, I feel like this is opening people up to see, like, and it's kind of quite scary to know, like, someone you can be married to, someone you can love, someone you can have children with could kill you, you know? And I'm not saying this hasn't ever happened before, but I feel like, media and publicly, like, it's starting to, like, get out that this is a situation, and it's bad when it comes to um, abuse in any form of way. And I'm going to get into that as I get into this reading more. And I'm not saying Kelsey was abused, um, but so don't jump the gun there. But we're going to talk about that when we get more into the reading. But I mean, this is nothing, these kind of things happen and sometimes they're not pointed out, and put in the media as much. And this is kind of goes back to also, if you look at, the Scott Peterson, Lacey Peterson case, um, that became so huge is when it first all really started, that, this is that awareness that people would, men would kill the woman they're supposed to love and protect. Chris Watts obviously on a whole different level because he killed his children, and that takes I feel like a level of sickness that none of us can really understand. But furthermore, moving on, let's talk about Kelsey Berreth here. I have to get into her energy. I have to tell you guys who she was aside of this tragedy, and then we move into the tragedy, because at the end of the day, you guys, Kelsey Berreth was a wonderful, loving woman. She was a daughter, she was a friend, she was a mother. She had people who really loved her and cared about her. Picking up on her energy, she was all for adventure. I feel like she had, like, that active, very active, adventurous lifestyle where, she would like to go rock climbing, or I'm not like literally saying, but I'm just saying what I feel is she was just very adventurous. Um, she loved being social, spending time with friends, family, like barbecues. I feel like she's just one of those people that her energy being around her, she did have a light to her when it came to being like the social butterfly. But at the same time, she was very responsible, very dedicated to her job. She is a Virgo, so you see that typically with earth signs, Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus, that they love their security, they love their career. And I believe she was a pilot. If I'm wrong about this, you guys can correct me, because I do read a lot about it, but I don't try to read as much so I can get into the energy more, because sometimes when you're coming in with bias, you can try to, like, it can cause manipulation of the reading. So I didn't want to, like, look at the case and, update so deeply, so that way I wouldn't have any bias, or, affect the energy that I feel from Kelsey. Now, if we want to know, is Kelsey alive? And I no, I don't believe she is. I believe she is on the other side. Um, Getting into that, but let's talk about who she was, though. And I have to use past tense because she's no longer here, and she has a story she wants to tell. So what comes out, you guys, is gonna come out. Maybe not all of our questions will be answered, and you have to understand that that's, you know, um, just the way that goes. But I want to give her an opportunity to speak her story and maybe tell us and enlighten us on what led or what happened from her view. Then, of course, we have Patrick Frazie's view, and then we have Crystal Lee that we got to look into. So, um, let's get started. Kelsey Berreth, like I said, she was a loving, fun, outgoing woman. I feel like she was really dedicated. She took care of the ones she loved. She was financially stable. She really had a lot of her life together for being so young. I mean, 29 years old is not that old. And so you can definitely sit, look and see where her motivation was in life. There is a sense of like freedom about her. She was a very free spirit, I feel. And I want to talk about her mother because there's this big thing about her mother, which is Cheryl Berreth. I did read her mother's name just so I could pick up on her energy. And why this is so unique is because of her daughter. I feel like Kelsey had a very, very close relationship with her mother. Like, one of those mothers that you talk to every day. So I feel like when it came to her daughter, when she speaks of her daughter, this is something that she wanted with her daughter. I feel like she gets a lot of her, like, she's her mother's daughter, if that makes sense. So therefore, I wish I could find her so he can. Yeah. So therefore, I'm gonna get into, because I mean I did this earlier so I can connect. I gotta pull her back out, and she's coming out the more I talk about who she was. And you guys know, like, when I'm doing this connecting, sometimes you can make certain spirits feel more comfortable if you know who they are and you want to show interest in who they are and not so much the tragedy. And I know that sounds weird, but there's certain spirits that they're not happy, when they pass, their spirit passes this way, crosses over this way. They're not happy at all. And I do want to say she is still earthbound because there's a lot of worry about her daughter. She's not she understands what happens. I feel like she's a very smart woman, okay? And I mean not saying just like book smart. I'm saying literally she's very intelligent. So, very clear speaker. So, I really understand kind of her feeling is more about her 1-year old daughter. So, and sometimes that they want to stress what they want to stress and where they're focused and what they're worried about because they have fear before they cross over, if that makes sense. They're still tied to earthly, you know things, whether it be children, whether it be um materialistic things. But, they have to learn to overcome that. They have to learn to trust. And they all get there in their own way. And I do believe Kelsey will get there because she was such a loving. But she's happy that her mother has the child and her family, and she's happy that Patrick Frazie's family is kind of cut off from that, I feel. Um, Not cut off from the child, but if you know what I mean, like, I think they will have supervised visitation, or there's something going on there where they're trying to set that up. But or if it's been established, but she's happy that that can be separated. Okay, so that's kind of my understanding. She's kind of coming to terms with that. Um, so let's go into Kelsey, um, and talk to her more about the tragedy and what happened and what led. Because if you guys remember, and I'm getting this very strongly, if you remember, I feel like when this story first came out and it was aware that she was missing, and I feel like, yes, it was Thanksgiving, so it was a holiday, and people are usually busy during holidays, right? And I feel like she talked to her mother, sister, friend. I don't know if she has a sister. Her mother. I definitely feel like she talked to her mother, and that was the not the last person she talked to, but the last person she talked to that she loved. Okay. Um there were kind words that were said between them. She was normal. She did not see this coming. So I want you guys to understand there was no anger, no animosity, but definitely she's saying that it was over, okay? And this is due to her finding out that Patrick was having an affair. But we're gonna get more into that, and she's gonna be along with us, and I'm happy that I was able to connect with her, because when I did it earlier, it took me a while. She finally came out, and I was finally able to like get, But okay, let's get into this. We're going to look at what happened in this Kelsey Berreth case. What led to the death. Thank you, Trisha. Hi, Donnie. Hi, Phantom Punk. Hi, guys. Sorry, I want to say hi to all you guys. You guys are so involved. This is a live chat, so don't feel like you're not. If you have questions, I will just say there's going to be I'll just ask, after I say something, if you have a question about it. I want to make sure you guys get clarity. I'm doing this for you guys. I'm doing it for me, but I'm also doing this for you guys, so you guys can have your answers and be at peace about, or, get some clarification. So, Kelsey. So, okay. So, right from the jump, I'm getting that, yes, there was a huge ending. Okay. I know the death card comes out. We obviously know that she is no longer here. But getting past that, there was this death card coming out is saying that, even though this is a tragedy, even though this has happened, okay, you guys, I feel like Kelsey is, if she's not quite yet, but I feel like she's seeing that the new beginning will be with her daughter. Her legacy is with her daughter here, if that makes sense. Now, even though she's passed on, I feel like this is going to be something that will help her cross over and have trust and faith that her baby will be all right without her. And I mean, she's a mother, so you have to understand, she's grieving, even though she's no longer physically here. And I do feel like she's having a very tough time with that, you guys. Now, let's get into the death here. What happened, because she wants to talk about what happened. So I get the 7 of Wands, and I'm going to pull out a few cards so I can get this story. Okay. So this is enough. This tells me a lot right here. The 7 of Wands. I got the 10 of Pentacles with the Chariot. You guys, this was over money. Patrick Frazee, okay, and I'm not going to get into Crystal Lee, but let's talk about Patrick Frazee and Kelsey Berreth. He was using her for money. He was using her for financial gain. I don't know if this came out in the news, but that's what I'm seeing, that she realized that she had to defend her money. And I actually think she realized that she had to cut off this engagement. Now, why didn't anyone know? I feel like she was kind of private when it came to her love life. But I feel like she wanted to let the news out to loved ones, family, friends. I think she did tell one close friend. But I feel like she wanted it to come out in a proper, respectful way, just because they had a child. But at the same time, there was a feeling of her just wanting to take full custody of their daughter. She kind of didn't really want anything to do with him, because I feel like she found out. How did she find out? I do feel like money was stolen, okay, from her also, but I only think that was part of it, because I feel like she found out that he was, yeah. So she walked away. She was done. Yeah, the Tower, the 6 of Wands. Okay, you guys, so very clearly she walked away from Patrick. She was leaving Patrick. She found out about Miss Crystal Lee. And I don't know if there was a conversation. I don't believe she saw anything to make it seem like, oh no, they would murder me. I don't think that at all, you guys. I don't think she saw that coming at all. And she had no clue that he was capable of doing that. He's like a con artist. Patrick Frazee is not, a good person. He's a history of doing stuff like this. And I don't think she even knew that he really had this history. Um, and I know, no, she didn't. But with the chariot, she was really quick to move forward. Okay, she definitely had her money protected because she hadn't married him, and that's the way she wanted it. Okay, she did not want that to, once she discovered what he was about. Now, I do feel a little bit of a sense that he did get mean to her, like really just disrespectful at times, and this is where the abuse comes in, because I feel like things were said. She's telling me things were said. And well, he kind of was, it was pretty apparent to her. She caught on very quick that there was someone else due to the fact that his behavior, I feel like in the beginning he was like a romancer, and I do feel like he only had their daughter, got her pregnant because he knew her money. Okay, he knew what he was doing. He knew it would be hard for her to walk away from him due to their daughter. He knew that she was a good woman and that she would do the right thing. Okay. Um, let's get into more because there's more to be said here. So then I get the Three of Pentacles. So yes, this is her finding out that, he was scamming her. He was conning her. Now I do... Seven of Cups. Okay, she didn't know at first. Obviously, this is her confusion. Yeah, her confusion coming in. So guys, I really feel so horrible for what Kelsey had to go through, because I'm going to be honest, she had zero clue. She didn't see this coming. She's very confused of why he had Crystal Lee, and I don't blame her. I'm confused why he had Crystal Lee, because I know what is probably being said. I feel like Crystal Lee's family and friends are trying to help her get out of this, but she very much had something to do with this. This is not, a beyond the doubt type of thing. She definitely, this was planned. Okay, this was talked about. He told Crystal Lee, and at any time, if Crystal Lee was such a good person, why didn't she contact the police when he started talking about murdering the mother of his child? I don't know what the hell's wrong with people, because things like this happen and people are like, oh, but I'm innocent. Because no, you're not innocent if you know someone has bad intentions to hurt someone. You don't take it as a joke. You don't sit there and say, I'm scared. You're scared of what? Go to the police. If you know someone is really trying to kill someone, okay, and you want to play the whole boo-hoo, no, you hid the phone. She hid the phone. She not only hid the phone, I do feel like Crystal knows where the body is, okay? I feel like Patrick and Crystal both. I don't think Crystal killed her, but she definitely helped dispose her body and everything. She is the one who texts, and there was no feeling of... for Crystal Lee, there was no feeling of guilt because she didn't really care about Kelsey. It's sad when these third-party situations happen, because it's sad because it makes, especially when it comes with a man and two women, okay? It's sad, and maybe the other way too, either way it's toxic, but it's sad because it's like people start hating someone based off jealousy, based off the fact that they want someone who is the very person that is taking from both of them. And it's sad to feel the energy that I'm feeling from these women is like, not so much Kelsey, because Kelsey did not know until it was too late, and when I say that, I literally feel like she found out, you guys, about the cheating and Crystal literally the month of November. Okay, so this was no, let me take that back. She's saying she had, okay, yes, she found out for sure. She had definite proof to use against him for the divorce, because there was she's telling me there was an argument. There was the argument of working it out, and she didn't really want to, but then at the same time she wanted to do the right thing for her child. Okay, so that makes sense. So she kind of was waiting to see, and I do feel like in that time of waiting, so maybe 3 months before, significant number is 3 here, because it was 3, it was a lover's triangle, and you see the triangle, and I feel like she found out. Sorry, give me some time, because she's not telling me exact date. She's just saying she found out before, but she had a feeling before, and she had proof for sure in November that she was ready to leave him. Okay, so that makes more sense. Her suspicions, okay, even though she had confusion, she realized something didn't feel right, you guys, within the relationship anyways, by his actions, the way he started talking to her. She really realized, and I mean, he talked not nice to her at all. He started really showing his true colors. So with that 7 of Cups and the Moon, her intuition was trying to tell her something, but I do feel like for Kelsey, she was a very I don't want to say she was not spiritual, but she did not believe in emotion. She was not emotionally ruled. Okay, so she could feel something, but she rather put her logic, her brain, over what she feels, if that makes sense. And I feel like she was the type to pick apart, things that would happen and things that would be going on in their relationship. Okay. Okay, let's keep going, because there's more she has to say. So I don't know if that answers a lot for you guys. Now, with that coming out, okay, like I said, right away she wanted to leave. But King of Pentacles here, this is her energy, okay? She wanted to leave. She wanted to protect her money. She had anxiety. She had stress. She had worry. Obviously, that makes sense. She actually couldn't sleep at night. Oh, okay. She actually couldn't sleep at night due to the fact that, she moved forward, but it's sad. And then you see her child here, because she loves her daughter, you guys, so much. But I think it's sad because she, being who she was, I feel like she had a certain way she wanted to bring a child in the world, as far as her moral value, compass was concerned. She always wanted to be married. She did not want to have a child out of wedlock. Okay, you guys. And I feel like this caused her to have a lot of stress, to learn how to be a single mom is something that she was nervous about. She was really scared, and she just was worried, for the future of her and her daughter. Even though she was financially stable, you guys, think past the money, because because she was really good with money, actually. But think beyond that, and she had to adapt into being a single mother, and that's an emotional thing. Okay, I don't know too many single mothers that have been married and gotten divorced that don't have that struggle, and learning how to do it, be single again, and that's also for single fathers. So that was something that she kind of was worried about. But you know what, with the 9 of Pentacles and Judgment and 8 of Wands, she had hope, and she was ready to move forward. I do feel like it was a little bit of a delay because of that feeling of, but she realized, what she needed to do, and she needed to face that fear, and she needed to move forward here. Okay, And she could. She was financially independent enough, okay? She was successful, you guys, definitely. She was not someone who was careless with money and played around. So, that was never going to be an issue for her as a single mother. But she had fears, emotionally, mentally, when it came to her daughter and her. Okay, the Emperor comes out. So she walked away, and in a sense, leaving him kind of made her feel like more empowered, more like she had control over not just her finances, because there's something weird with the financial thing going on here, you guys. I don't know why, but I feel like he made her feel like her money was his money before they were even married, okay? Just because they had a daughter. But she gained back that control. She really was trying to focus on stability. I know she had her own place. Oh, wow. Yeah, it keeps coming up. She keeps talking about the money. There must be something very big with money here. Maybe, I don't know. There was like a life insurance policy. Does anyone know that? Ooh. Tough energy. Okay. Now she's talking about Patrick. So here we go. So this is her, the King of Pentacles. Okay. With that Emperor card, that is Patrick. Okay. I feel like he was very controlling. And once he realized that she was not going to marry him, and therefore that whole plan of taking her money, that whole, deceptive, you guys. Therefore, you have the Ten of Swords here. He killed her. He killed her. With the Magician reverse, this is just deception, okay? This is just, he has messed up the karmic balance as well here. And that means that this, will have to be paid back. Okay, this will have to. Okay, Karen. Okay. Oh my God. This is a level up deception. That wasn't. So it goes in reverse because, see, Patrick had a plan, right? He was a con artist. Okay, the Magician for him, being the Emperor here with that Ten of Swords, he was trying to control this. He was trying to. So I don't know when Crystal Lee fell into that plan. But he definitely never really loved Kelsey, and he was all about money. Now it goes in reverse because the plan is disrupted. It's ruined here, right? Now it's even more ruined because regardless of whether he saw it, he thought, oh, he could control this, right? By killing her. And no. The universe was just not going to let that happen. First of all, number one thing, and I get number 10 here. She's saying 10. Okay. And then here you got the Nine of Swords. She's sad that he did this to her. Because she feels like she did right by walking away from the third party situation. Even though it caused a tower moment and it did make her sad, she felt like this was going to be successful. She thought that they would have a good relationship, you guys. But he never was really who he said he was. So she moved forward, right? I'm getting the same story. So I probably just need to talk to her. All right, so let's go into 10. So does anyone know something about the number 10? Because she keeps saying 10. And she's saying it's not a coincidence, that it's funny that it happened. Maybe that was like his favorite number or something, or that was the number. Not really getting anything on that. I don't understand. You too. Goodbye. Don't. Okay. Now we're getting into Mr. Patrick here. Patrick's in. Well, not really his end. This is still her energy, but we're going to talk about Patrick. Okay, so that way, it is relevant. Okay, so his plan with that musician reverse, and that's what I'm really focusing on here. I don't say, you guys, because Crystal definitely was involved. This definitely was a plan, and it was seen as an opportunity here to con her out of money. It's funny because the musician reverse is saying he didn't get what he wanted regardless, because the truth came out due to the fact that his biggest mistake, now it's making sense. His biggest mistake, you guys, was not reporting her as missing, or calling the police. And I don't know why it comes out like that, because I think I'm happy that he made this. And most criminals, almost all criminals who get caught make mistakes, right? But here you have the Eight of Swords with Judgment and the Five of Pentacles, where you see that he now feels like he realizes the plan didn't work. A lot was lost. Now, also with this Eight of Swords, the Judgment, and the Five of Pentacles, not only is this his karma coming back around, but you guys, this is also about the fact that when Kelsey left him, he didn't have money and he was in debt. Okay? So regardless, like, he was not gonna get what he wants. I don't know why he was this angry. That's not coming up yet, but I do see that there was definitely a toxic relationship, and that was his plan. And I have to think this is Crystal Lee. You guys, I'm sorry. So if some of you guys think she's innocent, I don't think she's innocent. I definitely think this was planned, and I feel like he was trying to take the money to put on a show for Crystal, but I kind of feel like Crystal knew who he really was, if that makes sense. I don't feel like there was any secrets there. And I don't mean like, I literally mean like she knew he was capable of murder, okay? Now, he may have murdered before, okay? And I know that sounds crazy, but that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm getting. He may have attempted or, done some stuff like this before, okay? Maybe not himself, but maybe hiring people or hitmen or laundry, like stealing money. He's done this stuff before. To the point where he's gone away with it for quite some time. I do feel like there were charges in the past, but they were so small that he can move forward, Now, I'm also getting, and I have to say, Crystal is involved, you guys, because here I get the Lovers card, and this is not speaking of Kelsey, but this is, I feel like there was this agenda, and for some reason it was being pushed to happen sooner, getting it done from him. I really feel like on his side. I do feel like Crystal was nervous and scared, but at the same time, I feel like he was running low on money, and he was like, this just needs to be done. I don't feel like he bossed her. I feel like she kind of went along with it, and I don't really understand why. I do see that she just had fear, but I don't really see why she went along with this, okay? And I'm literally being honest, because it was a decision made. It started out just being, the heartbreak with that, okay? He told her that him and Kelsey were broken up, okay? He literally told her this. You see once, and then you see getting in the cards more, you see the cheating, everything's coming out, everything's revealed, but this is where it's interesting, where I definitely think it was planned. The Two of Swords with the Two of Cups. Okay, so there was a decision here. What are we going to do? Okay, we want to be together. But at the same time, there's the Two of Pentacles. So it's not just about love. It was not just about love. It was about them wanting money. Okay? Now, and I have to say that because look what their plan was. You have that Queen of the Wands, even though Kelsey was a Virgo. She's showing up as the Queen of Wands here because she had moved on. With the Six of Wands being in the front, they're like looking at her success. Now let's go back to Patrick because this was something in his mind. Do I want to be with Crystal? And Crystal is not a nurse. Nurse make good money, but you know, they're not she did not make as much money as Kelsey. So a part of him was like, let me cut out Kelsey. And I don't know why it switched because the way it should have went is cut out Crystal. But he didn't. He loved Crystal, okay? He does have some. He feels like she is his soulmate. They have a little sick obsession with one another, okay? But he decided to take Kelsey, put her to rest, to kill her. He felt like that was going to be the best way for him to get out of the chaos, for him to get out of financial debt here. And I think he also felt that due to the fact that they, you know, were engaged and it was out there that way. He wanted to do it sooner. He knew Kelsey wasn't telling anyone that the engagement was off. Okay, he only told one person, and he knew he could, you know, make up a story saying, you know, we were going to work it out, or, you know, something like that nature, okay? Let's talk about the murder and where it was done. Now that's what we're getting into. And I'm not feeling very good. So I'm going to drink some water, you guys. And this stuff is very hard to talk about. And I pick up on this stuff. And I don't always pick up on this stuff. And that's why I usually don't do these kind of readings. I'm just starting. So please bear with me because energetically I get really nauseous. Sometimes I can get sick. And I'm going to pull through. But let's talk about the murder. So before there was a meeting up, okay, I feel like he offered Kelsey like a truce and saying he wanted to speak. He wanted to figure some stuff out with their daughter, and that he was willing to cooperate with the divorce. Now, Kelsey was in that Nine of Wands, okay, she was defensive. She was still hurt from all of the pain and everything they were going, what happened here. I do see that she contemplated and really thought about whether or not to take the offer, but she ended up saying, okay, let's meet up. Come over, or yeah, come over, because I feel like she was murdered at her home. What she didn't know is that before this was already put in, this was already planned. This was already decided. They made the decision to do it. He made the decision to do it. Not so much, and I want to explain something, not so much that he made the decision to do it, you guys. I kind of feel like he wanted her dead, but he didn't want to do it himself. He did have that energy of kind of that fear. All right, if that makes sense. But let's talk about it. Yeah, here you see he offered her some truce, okay? But I want to go into, because I know it's here. I keep seeing her story. Okay, so I'm going to pull this all back because I must not have... I need to keep that out. Okay. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. And I'm going to just talk to her mostly to pick up on this. So if I don't use the cards, don't be offended. It doesn't mean what I'm feeling and what I'm hearing isn't true. All right. So the day of the murder, November 22nd, it was Thanksgiving. So significant because he knew exactly how to get her to react. He's really good at this, you guys. And he knew her enough to know, hey, it's Thanksgiving, let me see our daughter. But let's make a truce. Okay, I'll agree to the divorce. I want this. That's fine. So I do feel a little bit of that. And that's why she agreed to meet up and speak. Now, I don't believe Crystal was there. I'm kind of getting sick here. Every time I talk about the murder, I want to get nauseous. I'm sorry. I don't feel like Crystal was there for this. But when the topic came up, definitely he was hoping, maybe to change her mind here a little bit, to not want to kill her, if that makes sense. And I feel like Kelsey just said, no, I want to move forward. I do believe that the intentions were pure as far as her letting him see their child, and spend time with the child on this day. So she said she didn't want to take the offer. So right from the jump, she wanted a new start. And that's when the explosion, okay, and I'm going to call it an explosion, happened with Patrick. He lost his temper. Now, here's the thing that she wants to make very clear with you guys is, and you know how he said he talked to her bad? He had a temper, okay, you guys? He was not the calm, cool, collected guy that she first originally dated, before they got pregnant. He changed after she had the baby, okay? Now, so within a year span, I would say within that year, he changed, okay? That's what she's making me feel like. Now, let's move forward from that. So the question is of how he killed her. What happened? And I think she kicked him out. Well, what I'm feeling energetically, what she's telling me. And I know she's having a hard time talking about this because it takes her back to this. Okay, moment. There was the fighting. He exploded. He lost his temper. She did not understand because the agreement, before he came, the whole thing was, yes, I'm fine with this divorce. This is what I want. It went from that to him exploding because she wouldn't cooperate or do what he wanted. And she wanted to move on. And so she ended up kicking him out. No, she did not give him their child. And initially, I think the baby was sat. I feel like it started in the kitchen and then the argument moved to the living room, to the door, because she kicked him out. What she did not expect is, I guess he had a gun. I'm getting a shotgun. I see a gun. I see it being cocked outside, not in front of her, outside, him kicking the door. Okay, and I don't know if it was like a screen door. I'm not sure if it was just, because I see a screen, so I don't know if her door had a screen, you guys. Like one door that opened, and then the door, the main door. But he kicked the door open, and that's how he got in. Okay, and she's telling me she didn't lock it. That's not something she had expected. Now she knew he had a temper. I don't feel like he ever physically abused Kelsey, you guys, okay? I don't think he did. Um, she was literally going to pick up her daughter. When he came in, he's had the gun and he shouted, and pretty much I keep hearing, you don't think I will fucking kill you, because you're gonna do what I say or I will kill you. I think the state of shock that she was in was something that, you know, I think it still shocks her soul, you know. Um and it was already that she was sad enough that, you know, he played this with her. You know, he manipulated her. He used her for this long, and you know, accepting that alone was hard for Kelsey at that time when she was here physically. And just seeing that, I think that was a moment of being crushed. So let's go past shock, you know, a breakdown. Seeing he had a loaded gun, and she knew his gun, and she's saying his gun was loaded. This is something with his guns. He had a thing with his guns. He was into guns and I don't want to say violence, but like she's showing me, oh, like hunter gear or hunting gear. Okay, so he was into guns. He knew about guns really well. I don't think she believed, but when she turned around, she was shot. I want to say, and I'm going to just guess here because I keep getting sick in my stomach, and then in the beginning I had felt some chest pain. You guys, I did not feel like she was shot from behind. I feel like she was facing him. And I do feel like a struggle. There was a fight. But I just feel like she's giving me this feeling like she wasn't quick enough because she was worried about her daughter. Their daughter was in the same room. Does that make sense? So her daughter was in the room when Kelsey was shot by Patrick Swayze. Now, everyone keeps saying, and I don't know why why she's going over this. People keep saying, "Oh, was it somebody else? Was somebody else paid to kill her? Was there multiple people?" I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he wanted to hire people, but I don't think it was quick enough for Patrick, and he lost his temper. He has a very short fuse. When I pick up on his energy, it's quite insane how bad his temper is. So, where yes, there was a planned murder and he was going around trying to plan it, I don't feel like he himself wanted to do it, but due to him losing his temper in that moment. Now, after it had happened, she was shot. She was on the ground. I do feel like more than once, okay, you guys, there was more than one shot. And I trying to count, I hear boom, boom, boom. Okay. Maybe three to five shots, okay, that killed her. But she was killed at the first shot, I feel. Like, she would have bled out to death. If, you know, he didn't need to do what he did, okay? But, let's move forward. He went into panic mode. I see pacing. I see him putting the gun on a table. I do see him picking up his daughter, and I see him getting away from the body, like instantly with his daughter, and just kind of freaked in shock. I don't think he expected his temper to go that far. And I do feel like this is something that Patrick Swayze has been dealing with for his whole life. Like, there could have been times in his childhood even, and you know, if you have this kind of underlying problem where you lose your temper and you don't address these problems, sometimes you lose control, right? Especially if there's, like, you know, something on the line that you really care about. And money is his motivation, and that's something he really wanted. He did not want to be in debt, and he felt like Kelsey was his meal ticket, okay? Out of that. Even though he didn't really want to be with her, he felt like that was his meal ticket, okay? Now, I feel like he did call someone, you guys. So, not Crystal, but I feel like he called someone to help gather his brain together to figure out what he needed to do. The person basically walked him through what he needed to do. And you're gonna be shocked, but someone said something about his mom. Maybe it was his mom, because I feel like someone came and took his daughter so he could take care of what he needed to take care of. Does that make sense? Jesus. Okay, so when the person came, they took his daughter. This is when Crystal Lee came into play. And Crystal knew from the jump that this is something he wanted to do, you guys. So I don't feel bad for Crystal Lee. If she gets charges, she should be charged. From there, I do feel like he drove to Idaho. So this was like a very quick thing. Not quick, but I feel like if you think within those 10 days, okay? Like the first couple days, this was something that was done. And driving to Idaho, and I've lived in Idaho, so I know a lot about Idaho. I lived in Boise. Twin Falls, Idaho, northern Idaho, even in general, just Idaho in general has a lot of land. Okay? There's some significance with Crystal Lee that she knows where the body is, because it's somewhere where it's out. And I kept getting like this weird, maybe it's near water, but I get land, okay? Like, and I'm sorry, you guys, because I kept pushing her to kind of tell me where you are. Where are you? Where are you? Hold on one second. I kept getting this energy of her being like, where are you? Where are you? Me asking her, and she just froze up for some, and I don't want to say froze up. She was trying her best to explain, but I wasn't getting like a full understanding of where her body was. But if I can try to guess and tell you guys, I would believe she is underground, somewhere near water. And it may be like a lot of land, but a stream or you know what I mean? Like water nearby. Because I do get a feeling of her being face down. She's already passed away, so she's seen this. She's watched this, okay? She watched everything because it was a state of shock. And she was also worried about her daughter, so I feel like she kind of was everywhere. But I get it, her face was face down the whole time. I get that she's wrapped up in something, and I don't know what kind of cloth this is. It could be silk. It could be a rug, though. With that interpretation, it's hard for me to say because I'm doing this based off energy and feeling. I'm not getting like clear pictures. I do see face down. I feel it on my face, and that's all I get for that. Now, her body is in Idaho, okay? I do get that very clearly. Her body is not in Colorado. It is in Idaho. We'll talk about the phone and Crystal Lee. Crystal Lee was put into place with the phone due to the fact that, Patrick Frazee thought the cops would not know about her, question her, find out about her. Kelsey had just found out about her. I don't feel like Cheryl Berreth knew. I don't feel like a lot of people that were close to them really knew Crystal Lee, okay? So I don't feel like he thought that the cops would be tipped off about that. But they were. And it's due to the fact that she texted from that location. Not where the body was, but she texted from the location. And I do think that Patrick walked her through when to text and what to say, okay? To her job and to families and, you know, that whole thing. Crystal disposed of the phone exactly the way he told her to, where he told her to. You know, everything was planned out at that point. And I guess that would be pretty obvious because, you know, he had already committed the crime. Now, yeah, cops are trying to, I know, get more charges on him due to him, you know, trying to hire to kill. I know that, and rightfully so they should, because Jesus Christ, this guy is a nutcase. If you put it together, it doesn't matter, you know, if he had money issues. It's like, you got caught. Let it go. Maybe try it on someone else. I don't know. I wouldn't even say that because I just feel like he, and this is mostly Kelsey, not really me personally. I feel like he could have got out of his financial issues if he would just be more responsible and less careless with his money. Wow. All right, you guys. Does anyone have any questions? Because I know that's so brief, but she's really starting to get upset because she feels like it was so meaningless, and so he didn't need to go that far. She's not, you know, you guys, she's not defensive towards people, you know, connecting to her energy. She's not defensive. She's one of those, like I said, she's very, and I don't want to say social butterfly, but she loved people who cared. You know, she was a very loving person. So she will get to the other side. She will move forward in time here. I'm not sure. You know, and I do feel like she's still here, earthbound, and sad. You know, sad at the whole situation. So, not regretful, but just sad that he couldn't, you know, get it together financially. And I do feel like I want to say that this was, something that they had a struggle with in their partnership as well, was financial, like him being financially responsible. What? No, we don't want those. Okay. So we're going to move forward here. And we're just going to get a positive message because I don't ever like cutting off these readings without something positive. And of course I will do and I'm probably going to call it the wrap up, where I will revisit this as people put comments and say certain, you know, how they feel. And you guys are more welcome to put how you feel in the comments about the case and what you feel personally happened. There's a lot I don't know, so I just go over what she had to say, and I'm happy that she came through for me, and I want to say thank you, Kelsey, for doing so. Oh, okay. You know what I want to say, you guys? I feel like within a few months, she will be found. Her body will be found, okay? So if that is a question that you guys are wanting to know, her body will be found. If it's not within a few months, it could be sooner than a few months, because this is really weird with timing, but I keep getting a few months very strongly, okay? Her body will be found. That's good news. And then we'll have more answers about what, you know, the attack and what took place, okay? Because the cops have some answers, but it's almost like a puzzle right now. And without the body, they kind of don't even know. They don't know what to charge him with when it comes to the, you know, past murder, because they probably would charge him with more and have more evidence. Okay, that was a lot. All right, so let's get a message from Kelsey. A positive message if she wants us to know. Kelsey, just speak to my crystal angel cards, leaving us with a positive message so that we know maybe what you've learned or what you feel like is important for everyone to be aware of when it comes to life, being alive. And we're going to close this up. Here we go, you guys. Maya, can you stop? Some more wants to fall out. All right, so we're going to take it. Wow. Okay, so very strongly, you guys. This is the main card, so I will go over this last. Let yourself feel your emotions. Your entire rainbow spectrum of feeling is sending you important messages and guidance. And then she has forgiveness heals. And this is not for us per se, but let's take a lesson here. She's talking about Patrick Frazee. You know, for Patrick, I do feel like he kind of would be cold to how he really felt. And he knew, unlike, you know, a sociopath, he knew that he's not like on that level. I mean, obviously he did murder her and there's something wrong there, but it was almost like an opportunist type of murder, okay? Like, she wants him to know that he really should have forgave her, because even though they couldn't get along about money issues, you know, even though they couldn't get along because she found out about the third party, his anger took over, his temper, and she just feels like, why couldn't he forgive me? Because I do believe that even though she was sad, you guys, she was willing to forgive him, and that's the only reason she's not here with us today, because she trusted and she was willing to forgive him, okay? Not be with him, but willing to forgive him. And this is what she was giving him, was her forgiveness, okay? Of what he did here. There's a reason I kept this card out, to make that point, right? Crazy. But, he didn't really want that. He didn't want that healing. And the sad thing is, he'll never get it now. And the sad thing is, she'll never get that forgiveness either. So she is really emphasizing on that when it comes to Patrick Frazee here. Now, she wants her main message, and this is something with herself that she always had to work on, and being the fact that this does make sense because she is a Virgo, is that she wants you guys to know that it's always about progress, not perfection. There's a little bit of energy of hers feeling like, make sure you love yourself. Don't compare yourself to others or judge yourself. Instead, focus upon how far you've come and all that you've learned. Okay? So this is something that she was really trying to work on within herself. And, we all have different things that we're trying to work on and learn, right? So let's go ahead and this to you guys because this is her main message here. This card is a sign that you may be holding on to judgments about yourself that are blocking you. Perhaps that's a fear that if you or your work isn't perfect, you won't receive that what you need. God and your guardian angels are reassuring you that you're perfect because you were made in God's image and likeness. You needn't try to be humanly perfect. In fact, nobody is perfect in the human sense. Everyone is a work in progress. Your guardian angels want you to focus upon the progress you've made and acknowledge your successes. Please don't be so hard on yourself and stop judging yourself. You are lovable inside and out, and if anyone is criticizing you, especially abusively, get away from them. You deserve to be with people who are supportive and encouraging. So if you think about it, that kind of shapes the whole reading, because in the beginning I said something about abuse, and I sometimes don't even realize this, you guys, until the end of the reading. Like I said, the way he talked to her, things, she dealt with it for a while, and she had to overcome that and stop beating herself up, because she was actually being critical on herself, because of the things that Patrick was being mean and saying to her. Little did she really know, like, he just wanted her money. I mean, I think she knew that, but you know what I mean. She's saying this was something that this actually helped her work on and overcome that. So there is a little bit of a sense of peace and pride for her. Not pride in that way, like the positive pride. And I think that can help her get to her peace, because this is something that she's always had an issue with, is being way too critical, working too hard, because she's too critical of herself when she was here. Kelsey was. And at sometimes she really wishes she would have kind of relaxed from that and wasn't that way, so she could have left situations sooner, even with other lovers, even with certain career matters. Okay, so it kind of shapes what she was going through within her life with herself, her spiritual journey. So you guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. Remember, guys, we're not perfect, and when we're trying to strive for perfection in others' eyes, we never get that perfection. Okay, and you can only be happy within yourself. Okay, that's another thing to remember, you guys. No one on this planet will ever determine your worth but you. The moment you let other people, it will never work. And the reason why is we were not put on this earth to satisfy and entertain and, be perfect for others. We were put on this earth to be spiritually and vibrationally strong and for ourselves. Okay, we determine our self-worth. So just remember that. Don't let people get you in that cycle, and we all do this, because we all have insecurities, and sometimes people will pick apart the best part, the thing that, no, it's not the best, but hey, our imperfections sometimes make us who we are. And if you are accepting of who you are and your worth, you should never let anyone make you feel less or make you feel undervalued. Okay, all right, you guys, I love you guys, and I hope you guys have a good evening, and I'm happy that I got this reading out, even though it was an hour. I do apologize. I love you guys, and have a great night.